It has to deal with stress management. This is her project number 2. Ingrid's been with us about 6 months with us. So I really look forward to hearing about her stress management. Again, project number 2 is Ingrid about less is more. Let's give her a hand.
I've been so stressed out lately. I feel like if there's not enough hours in the day to do my errands, to do the groceries, the demands at work are just getting even crazier. And when I get home, the bills are just piling up. It's gotten to the point where I just want to scream and just go crazy. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and distinguished guest. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that is oh so common to us, and that is stress. So I'm going to tell you 4 ways in which you can manage stress. So let's start by defining stress. Stress is basically the way our body reacts to an unexpected situation or an unexpected, challenge that comes our way. Even a challenge that is welcome or a situation that is welcome can cause us stress. For example, planning a wedding. We all love to plan weddings, but it is the most stressful thing I think we will ever go through. I'm helping my best friend now plan her wedding, and all the details is just extremely crazy. Also, the birth of a child. We love it, but we have to, get a new room, we have to paint the room. It's just all these things that, we don't expect can cause stress in our lives. And sometimes it seems like there's nothing we can do. But we are completely wrong. There's a lot of things we can do to manage stress. In fact, the simple realization that we are in control of our life is the foundation to stress management. With this said, let's move on to the first step in stress management, which is to identify what causes you stress. This may not be as easy as it sounds. Yes, we know, the usual things that cause stress, but sometimes we don't realize that our own stress-inducing thoughts, feelings, and behaviors can definitely increase the level of stress and causes more anxiety. I'm going to give you an example. Last week, everybody knows I do HR. If you don't, I do HR for a living. And last week I had somebody come into my office. So the first thing the candidate does before she even sits down is she apologizes for her English. She didn't even give me a chance to, even hear her English. So she sits down and she tells me, "I'm sorry, I want to apologize for, the way I speak." So I tried calming her down, So as the whole interview process is going, I'm listening to her and I see that she communicates very well. But when she got like a little, into the conversation, she would realize that she was just, her English would just flow correctly. She was able to communicate. But then when she realized that she was in the middle of an interview, she would start like stressed out and her face would completely change. And after the interview, I told her, "You know what? You communicate very well. I'm able to understand you. But I feel like your own thoughts of, I can't speak English, put a barrier already. So you set the mood of a stressful or a nervous mood." So once we realize what it is that's causing us stress, we need to find ways to alter it and adapt to it and try to change it. Which we move on to step number 2, which is to take the positive approach. A positive approach to even the most difficult situations can completely change and reduce the level of stress that we have. I know that life is hard sometimes, and it's hard for us to see the good in a situation. But to reduce the stress, we need to be able to approach and do those approach the little things that are difficult in a positive light. Yesterday I received those little massive text messages everybody gets, those forwards that are extremely long. I never read them. I swear I always press delete and I move on. I don't know why yesterday I decided to read it. And it was about the story of this lady who woke up one morning and she looked herself in the mirror and she noticed that she only had 3 pieces of hair on her head. 3 pieces, literally. So the lady looks at herself in the mirror and says, today I'm just going to do a braid. So she does her braid and she goes on her day normally, and she has the best day of her life. The second morning she wakes up, looks at herself in the mirror, and realizes that she only has 2 pieces of hair on her head. So she looks at her and says, okay, well today I'm just going to part my hair in the middle and go along my merry way. The next morning, she realizes she only has one piece of hair left. So she ties her hair in the back in a ponytail and goes about the day and has an even better day. But the fourth morning, when she wakes up and realizes that she's bald, instead of, stressing like anybody else would and freaking out, she sees the positive to this very also dark situation that she has. And she says, well, today I don't have to do my hair. So she saw the light, and this is somebody who, sees the glass half full. Half full. I said it correctly. So we move on to the third step, which is for us to adopt a healthy lifestyle. A healthy lifestyle combined with exercise is definitely a good way for us to, to get rid of the stress. It's proven that when we exercise, the fact that we sweat and we release all these things calms us down. I know that whenever I have a hard day, I go to the gym and I start, not that I do much weight, but I start doing weights and I feel a lot better because when you work out, you release feel-good endorphins where, you feel a lot more positive and you're able to go along your merry way. Also, eating healthy works. If you get rid of the carbs and the foods that have high fat, it makes you feel, when you eat carbs, you feel very full. So when you're full, you feel sluggish. So when you feel sluggish, you're a lot more stressed out and you're a little bit more down. Now, moves on to step number 4. Step number 4 is for us to be relaxed. Relaxation is the opposite of stress. So when we're relaxed, obviously we're a lot less stressed. So when we feel that we're a little overwhelmed, we need to find time for us to step away from it and do things that relax us. For example, I like to get a massage here and there, or I like to do breathing exercises. This definitely works. I hate flying. And last month I had to fly to Los Angeles, and the fact that I had to sit down in an airplane for 6 hours was freaking me out. Before I even sat on the plane, I was already sweating. As I was walking to my seat, which is the last seat of the plane, which is the worst thing I could ever have, because my claustrophobia kicks in, I start sweating. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I swear my heart started racing. I thought it was going to pop out of my body. So I sit down, excuse me, and I decide to start breathing. So the breathing exercises actually does work. So I'm sitting there and I start concentrating on my breathing, and I realize that I feel a lot more calm. So let's recap what I just said. The 4 ways for us to reduce stress is number 1, to identify what causes the stress. Number 2, to take the positive approach. Number 3, to adapt a healthy lifestyle. And number 4, to relax. So remember, the less we stress out, the more we'll be able to enjoy the little things in life. Thank you.